to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down Infamous.
Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on the forum.
And this is Parker. Go by Dr. Mantis Toboggan on forums now.
I was going to correct you if you forgot.
No, I don't.
This is Jeremy. Still no forums, and no comment from Mantis Toboggan. My God in heaven. God bless your soul.
You are not on the forums, but if you were to make a forum name, it would be Jermiger Constagon.
Obviously.
Okay.
That's my password on everything in my entire life.
Alrighty. So quick announcement: Parker's probation is now down to 16 episodes.
Whoop whoop!
You're getting there, buddy.
16 episodes, he will no longer have to come over to my house and clean the toilets every day.
Man, that would be a blessing.
Yeah.
A blessing.
How much time you're going to get back?
It would
So
definitely
much.
be easier if I wasn't using the toilets at the time.
Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah.
The space.
But I like to be there to observe.
Itty bitty living space.
If I'm going to be there, I might as well be doing something. All right, so moving on to Parker's segment. Parker, this better go quickly. You have about 3 minutes.
What, for news?
All right, I don't know. What are we doing?
News.
News.
News. All right.
Wizards!
So,
Lizards.
we have
Fucking pig lizard.
Yeah, we have lots of stuff. We had so we found out that the Midnight Suns. We already knew Midnight Suns, Moon Knight, and Blaze were coming out. We got Moon Knight's panel to play. We also got some more Midnight Suns and Mystic enemies. So first, let's do the Moon Knight panel to play. We found out that he has, but they were actually really descriptive in this one. I felt like we got a lot of stuff. His one of his basic attacks apparently lets him reroll any number of attack dice and has potential to stagger, which I thought was crazy. If that's like a basic attack, that sounds insane. Then he also has his Moon Knight Silver throwing crescents like batarangs, only not. Totally not.
Crescents.
Totally not.
They're not
Totally not.
batarangs.
Totally not batarangs.
That's Batman.
Here's a
That's-
croissant, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like moons, not bats.
And I think
Bats.
everyone at this point has seen the old comic thing, the old comic book page of him throwing a bunch of croissants and screaming random bullshit. Go.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen that at this point.
And it has rapid fire apparently. So we got rapid fire on his ranged attack. And then finally his last attack that we know of is a 4-power Avatar of Khonshu, in which he appears within range 1 of his target, so it's likely a lot longer range, like 3 or 4. Appears within range 1 of his target, then does a strength 7 attack that pushes size 2 or less. So it's a teleport for him, and then also a push with strength 7 dice. What do you guys think of those attacks?
I am pretty sure that all of the place within one of your target attacks are range 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or not all, but the majority of them are range 3.
That's what we can assume, yeah.
Also, Khonshu? Is it pronounced Khonshu?
Let's find
Do you
out.
know? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Khonshu is an old wooden ship.
Los Angeles.
San Diego.
A whale's vagina. Khonshu. I'm trying to find like a etymological thing here.
Comes
He's the
from
Egyptian
the-
moon god.
There you go.
The phonetic transcription would actually be Khonshu. Yep, Khonshu.
Khonshu.
Yep.
Yeah. I got it right.
Old
And
wooden
so
ship.
when was the boat made?
The boat?
Yeah, when was the boat
Ship.
Khonshu made?
It's a ship.
I don't know.
Ship. It's a ship. It's a yacht.
She is a ship. I assure you, she will sink.
The definition of a ship is it has boats on it, right? I'm I'm pretty sure that's the actual definition. Is it's a boat if it's just singular. If it's a boat with other boats, it's a ship.
She is made.
I think that's the actual definition.
She is made of metal and iron. I assure you,
This has been a great podcast about Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Oh,
Ship versus boat. I have to know. Sorry, hold on.
news.
News. Yeah. I was going to take too long. I'm taking too long with the news.
Parker, you're way over your 3 minutes.
Yeah, way over. I don't know what I was thinking.
Hold on, wait. Okay, so apparently the original definition meant was either a square, rigid craft or had at least 3 masts, is what I'm seeing here. But it has been modernized to basically just mean large vessel.
Yeah. All right.
So a boat is anything that is not ocean-going or at least deep water transport. And everything that is not defined as those two things is a boat.
Interesting.
And so this would probably be a ship. Jeremy's correct.
So Moon Knight also has. There's one ambiguous.
Every
thing.
minute you're over is another episode of probation. Park.
I
You
know.
better hurry up.
I know. I better do something about this. So the what's funny, Jeremy and I were laughing when we were looking at the panel to play a little earlier that they're doing this thing where they capitalize certain words in there, where it says like his bow staff attack has the potential to capital stagger, hits the target, but then later it says this stealthy, wall crawling character, but neither of those are capitalized, so we have no idea if he has stealth or wall crawling. But we can assume he does, because they said both of those words back to back in another paragraph, but they didn't capitalize it, those sons of bitches. So I don't know what.
Based on their track record, everything capital he won't have.
Yeah.
And everything lowercase he will have.
Who knows?
does he have a 12 dice attack? I do not trust that.
He probably has the ability to roll potentially any amount of dice over any amount of time, I would expect.
Over 6 turns,
And
he
it's
could do
somewhere
anything.
in there,
Yeah.
somehow also move any number of times.
Yes. So he does have the ability called multiple personalities. But basically what it means is that at the start of his activation, you roll a dice, and depending on the result, he could get an extra action for advancing, more dice on attack rolls, extra power, or just nothing. The phases of the moon might be predictable, but Mark Spector is not. So he's gonna have an additional thing every turn. You're not sure exactly what it is. It looks like they're all beneficial though.
Yeah, so he basically gets to charge extra power or do nothing.
Right.
Nice. Real nice.
It says do nothing, but I think it just means the power does nothing. I don't think
The power does nothing. He does. Well, he does do nothing, but also the power does nothing.
So
random bullshit, go!
So negative Batman, as I like to call Moon Knight. He is just negative Batman, literally.
He's Bat Zorro.
Yeah. Anyway.
Bat Zorro, maybe?
So you were excited. Jeremy, you were excited about him, right? You thought he seemed cool.
I don't care about any of his rolls at all, except for the fact that he has the random roll a die to figure out what the fuck he does. Mm-hmm. Which means he's got to be a 3-point character. Like like a 4-point. You're not cashing in on a 4-point that might do nothing.
They tend to like printing 4-point characters that will never get played. So
that's true. It's safe. It's safer that way.
There's one of two options: very competitive 3-point models, or 4-point models you can throw in the garbage.
Yep.
Mediocre. Yeah.
How's your favoritism of Daredevil working out for you?
It's getting better and better.
Better every time. I know more and more that it was a mistake to draft.
Each game, I'm getting closer and closer to throwing him in the trash.
All right, Parker, you're up.
Other news is we have the likely other members of the Midnight Suns, as well as some Midnight Suns enemies. We have more Mystic characters and Dormammu coming out. So we know the boxes are going to be Doctor Strange and Clea. For those of you who are not familiar with Clea, she's actually a member of the royal family of the Dark Dimension. Dormammu is a tyrant in the Dark Dimension, and he's a demon, kind of a Voldemort kind of character who's broken his soul so many times he's more demon than anything else. But they're actually regular denizens of the Dark Dimension, and Clea is the Sorcerer Supreme of that dimension, Dormammu's dimension. and she and Doctor Strange have teamed up against Dormammu many times. They're also lovers, so they're coming together. Since they're lovers, we probably expect them to have, activation things, because that's what they always do with lovers in this game. That's my little prediction. We have Mordo and the Ancient One. So the Mordo and the Ancient One box, they're definitely going straight out of the MCU rather than the comic book universe, which is the opposite of the Doctor Strange and Clea box. They're straight comic book versions, but Mordo and the Ancient Ones are straight MCU versions. So
we also don't know if maybe the new movie just takes their new costumes. Like, we don't know.
It's possible that Doctor Strange and Clea have those costumes in the new movie too. Yeah, and they borrowed them from the MCU. But I borrowed them from the Marvel comics. But I can tell you the cinematic universe is where they got that Ancient One. Because the Ancient One in the Marvel comics is a diminutive Asian man. So this is definitely the lanky bald lady.
And honestly, I don't know if this is true of the comics, but like the whole the spell effect she's holding, where it's like, look, I have a folding fan of energy. That was my least favorite part of the entire Doctor Strange movie, and so I'm not overly hyped about that. But the model looks fine. I just thought that whole look, I can make kaleidoscopes. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like that doesn't look cool.
Yeah, that stuff. Doctor Strange's and the Ancient One's magic they're never runic, really, in the comic books. They're almost always this kind of amorphous thing. Almost globular, usually. But Mordo, of course, Mordo is also, obviously, the MCU interpretation, because in the comic books, he's a Transylvanian. He's, like, white as the driven snow. And he has this long mustache and very nefarious looking. So, very different. We also get Dr. Voodoo in the Hood, which are... I do not know if they're going to be in the movie, but they are characters from Marvel Comics universe. Dr. Voodoo is a member of the Midnight Suns with Doctor Strange. The Hood is actually a bad guy who's a regular person through a criminal activity happened upon some demonic possessed stuff, and so that's why there's going to have two models for him, is because the stuff that he wears is not only empowers him when he's in his human form, but it can kind of take him over and subsume his personality to get things done, and it's very, very strong. The demonic version of the Hood is really, really powerful. To give you an idea, he goes toe-to-toe with Doctor Doom. So super cool stuff. I'm excited to see another model that transforms. I think it's cool.
So yeah, there's 3 models in here. So the 2 small based models are the 2 versions of the Hood?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that the demon guy was like a summoned pet of the like shaman looking dude.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yep.
But yeah, so that makes a lot more sense now that they're just 2 versions of the same guy. Mm-hmm. I was like, but who's the guy with the pistols? And now I realized that that's 2 models.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like Ant-Man and Wasp. You just you change the models out. But Dr. Voodoo is exactly what it sounds like. He's a voodoo master. So he does like spiritual magic, ghosts, and that kind of thing. The Hood is a demonic magic. Actually, in the comics, you find out later, spoiler alert, the Hood's demonic power comes from Dormammu. Dormammu is at least like a portion of his psyche is what is inhabiting the Hood. So, and then of course we get Dormammu, the tallest model in the world. Jeezy Pete's. That model is big.
Huge.
I for some reason I looked at the Dormammu, and as soon as I saw him, I went, "Oh man, another 7-point model. I'm going to have to watch not die and kill all my stuff."
Do we know he's going to be... I don't think he's going to be playable in the game.
Oh, really? I just assumed because he's a model.
No, I bet he is.
I'm pretty sure he's just going to be the raid boss.
No,
I bet he's playable.
I'm sure
just like
he's
Thanos.
playable. Yeah. I'm sure he's going to be playable. I would be amazed
shaved head bet, Parker.
If they put it on model. What?
Ooh. Shaved
I'm not going to do a
head
shaved
bet.
head. I will tell you, I'm not going to do a shaved head bet. I'll buy you a
All right.
Dormammu all day, but I'm never going to do a shaved head bet.
I'll tell you what. We'll do a shaved head bet, but you have the option of giving me $100 American to opt out of the bet at any time.
Why 100?
I don't know. I just picked a number.
I will buy Dormammu for you if he's a raid boss. If I think he'll be a model in the game.
So yeah, I basically think that he's going to be, playable in the mission, but I don't think he'll have like a normal game point cost.
Do you really think they would do that? Do you really
He's
think
so big.
I mean,
Well, hold on. I can't find a picture of the box set anymore because I know.
I'm looking at it
here
right
we
now.
go. They've uploaded the Sanctum Sanctorum, but they don't have Dormammu in the model box section.
I have it here. I'm looking at it.
Okay, how is it on a large base? Is it a recognizable base?
Yeah, well, he's got his. It's kind of like Thanos. He's got a set base, like a diorama base, and then you can see he's on a base inside of that.
Within it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, what size base is it? Can you link
Hard-
it
hard
so
to
I
tell.
can take a look?
This-
Because I can identify the bases. So
The
I can tell
the
you.
size of this picture's not great.
Because I watched the video a couple times, but I never bothered to look at like the super cut pictures or whatever.
so it's a large base. I'm telling you right now.
I think it's a large.
I would
base.
assume.
Yeah, it's so I have in general chat. I posted the picture of him standing next to Thanos.
Uh-huh.
He's on a large base.
Oh yeah, that's a large base. It's the same size as
Oh, you posted this in the general.
hmm
Yeah, he took screenshot.
Oh yeah.
There
Okay.
it is.
Yeah, it's a large base. So he's probably 6 inches tall. God, that's a big boy.
I wouldn't take that bet, Brandon. I think he's going to be a model in the game.
I mean, you can make
Well-
Thanos 10 points, and you can play Thanos at 10. I mean, I can.
Well,
imagine.
yeah, but that's. So yeah, I don't know that it's that they wouldn't make Dormammu in the game. I just thought, I guess he's smaller than I actually thought the model was.
I think it'd be a missed opportunity if they didn't. I mean, he's a model. He's there. Throw some points.
Yeah, I don't
on
think
him
you're
and do it.
wrong. But where my brain is going right now is like, well, if they're gonna make this guy playable, are they gonna make the Sentinels playable?
I mean, they
Sentinels
make
are-
they made
Sentinels
Hulk
gonna be
playable.
jack
Shit.
Well, but Hulk's not the size of a Sentinel. Sentinels are supposed to be like 80 feet
Yeah,
tall. Like
no,
in
that's
the-
true.
In the comics.
Yeah, they're just gonna have a
So,
foot.
like, yeah, that would be great. Just 2 feet, you move them
Yeah.
independently. You have to stay within
Yeah.
range 3 of each other.
I mean, it's very easy to make Dormammu rules because whenever Dormammu's ever come into our dimension, it's just like an incarnation of him. It's like an aspect of Dormammu, an avatar for him.
Sure.
It can't
No,
be
I'm not
like
worried
his
about
body.
like power level stuff. I was
Right.
mostly just thinking. But I've never seen like my only experience with Dormammu is in the movie, so
Right.
I know him as something as big as a planet. So
Well, he can become. Well, he's
Yeah.
He's not restricted by time and space. Like he can do what he wants.
yeah, no,
he's-
I guess he could be playable. God, that would just be weird to have like almost a god on the table. Like it would just be very abstract.
Well, what are you talking about? Thanos has like a guy. You can give Thanos 3 fucking Infinity Stones. Like
You give him 2 Infinity Stones, and
Sure.
Thanos with 2 Infinity Stones was beatable. Like
But he's like a god. Like he is like a god,
He's not a
controlling all
god.
of time or all of space or all of reality.
well, even the Infinity Stones weren't like individually they weren't that strong. They're very powerful, but like they weren't like. The problem was that you had a character in the universe that was already a very powerful being, and then
Mhm.
you combined that with 2 Infinity Stones, which is why like half the Avengers couldn't even beat him up.
Right.
But I get that. But like, if Dormammu, like he's like Thanos is gonna fight Dormammu with 2 stones, like no, he's not. Like, it's like I guess if one of them was the Time Stone, maybe. But like, how does he defeat Dormammu?
well, in the comic books, Doctor Strange like punches Dormammu in the face all the time in the comic books, and it's because like he can't. Dormammu can't just like shove his entire essence into our dimension, right?
He's making an avatar basically.
Yeah, right. So I don't think putting him. I don't think it's going to be that strange or odd. I don't think so. But anyway, Dormammu's going to be in there. Sanctum Sanctorum. We also mentioned that. That might be the Sanctum Sanctorum. Actually, might be the very first building I might actually buy for this game. Maybe. Ugh, it's so freaking cool. I would love
It
to
does
have
look
that in
pretty
my house.
cool.
I would love to have that in my house. I don't even need to play this game. This is the first model in this game I think I would buy just to put on my shelf. Like it would be such a cool set piece just in my house. I love the idea of having a Sanctum.
I
Sanctorum.
love that this is coming out, and all of the people they're like 3D printers, and like they buy them online, and like I'm so glad that there's an official one coming out, and so they can just shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Can anybody read? Do we have a better picture of this to where anyone can read the product code on Dormammu? I'm pretty sure it says CP20,
Yeah, I don't.
but
have
it's
that.
definitely
so tiny. I can't see it in this picture.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, though, it's still talking about buildings. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this because of a building like this just doesn't work very well in the game because there's that large section up top where there's like you can't stand because it's a slope, and so you can't overhang basically the balcony. And so there's basically like a 1-inch border around it that's impassable terrain, and impassable terrain just doesn't function very well in this game.
Right.
But that being said, the building looks pretty cool. Considering the actual layout of the building, I think they did a pretty good job of making it as useful as possible. And I will definitely buy one when it comes out.
Yeah. I'm
actually having a hard time convincing myself not to buy like 4 more apartment buildings. I want a street corner. I just want a little like block of New York City. Like, look, guys, it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. So I think that's the news. A lot of news. A lot more models coming out.
What? We haven't talked about everybody, did we?
That was everybody. Yeah.
Clea?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Clea?
Mm-hmm.
Did I just miss that?
Yep.
Okay.
You told me to go fast. I went fast. I had 3 minutes.
I didn't really want you to go fast, but I mean, you definitely went over your 3 minutes. So
no, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was a 21-minute news section. So
yeah, says you.
You went 3 by.
I think if you excise
17 more.
I think if you excise all the nautical research we had to stop for, I think you'd find it's closer to 3.
Well,
Listen.
you should have stipulated that before you started the news.
That's true. That's true.
All nautical research does not come out of my time.
That's true.
And had
I don't
you
know.
done that,
I don't know why.
Had you done that, we would not have to do this right here.
I broke the first rule of any debate.
31. No, it's 33. 33 more probations.
Oh, jeez. That's so many probations. I feel like I'll never be out of these probations.
Have you guys seen the video of or not the video, but some guy posted a picture of 2 apartment buildings right next to each other with like opposite configurations?
Mm-mm.
Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
It looked really good.
Mm.
So now I want to do like a whole bunch of buildings.
Very much
Even
not
though it's
the same.
completely unnecessary.
Okay, before we move on to the next thing, I actually wanted to ask, did you want to take the Dormammu bet? Or I would not, but did you want to take it?
No, I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't think you should.
Yeah, I don't think I will. At first, I was thinking about it, but I had this thought in my head that Dormammu wasn't going to be playable, but I didn't think they were actually going to make a model for him. I thought it was just going to be like a encounter. It's kind of like, what's that game called? Arkham Horror? Yeah, the Arkham Horror board game, where it's like you're doing all this stuff to fight the Elder Gods, but you don't actually fight the Elder Gods. They're just around, and bad things happen to you because of them, but you don't, like, pull out a switchblade on, like, you know, Azathoth or whatever the fuck their names are.
Well, I definitely didn't think we were going to be fighting the Eye of Sauron or whatever the fuck it was, but this guy here, though, I'll fight him.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more like the Ultron mission, where it's like, okay, well, this is going to be like one of 4 portals, and we have to, like, roll dice to close portals and go get resource tokens from around the board, while, like, demons are coming in and attacking us and stuff. Like, I thought it was going to be like that, not like Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Okay, cool. Alright, so moving on, we're going to go into currently playing. I have a couple things to say. First of all, I got a game in against Cassandra Nova, of all people. I am no longer worried about her taking over the meta. I am no longer worried about her being good, and I'm no longer worried about ever seeing her again. She was okay, probably. I mean, my opponent's first game with her as well, but I played. I put this note down here. I played against Dylan. I played bad. I played very bad. Basically both the game. Let's see. I had Corvus at 1 hit point holding the Kree power core, surrounded by 3 enemies, and my brilliant strategy I came up with is, well, I'm not going to activate Thanos, because I want to go with Thanos last. So I activated a Okoye and walked her over to stand next to Corvus. Genius move, right, guys?
Okay.
Genius move.
Sounds great.
Then realized, after my opponent had already taken an activation, that she only had one power when I did this. And so she couldn't even bodyguard, and I just apparently completely bluffed him and didn't realize it because he activated he activated Omega Red on the other side of the table instead of just killing Corvus, who was holding the power core. I get to my next turn, and I haven't even realized this yet, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm gonna pass. And I look over at Okoye's card and notice that she only has one power. And I'm like, yeah, she'll be okay. And it dawned on me that I'm not playing Avengers. And I was completely dumbfounded. I was like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. And so I told him, in fact, I will activate Thanos. And then Thanos basically killed everybody, and it worked out. Then the jerk double moved his Red Skull and field dressed his Cassandra Nova, and she dazed my Corvus, and I was sad. But anyway, yeah, Cassandra Nova did not feel very threatening. Is she 5 points?
Yes.
Yeah, that did not seem good. I didn't realize this. She has 2 physical defense.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes. It is really bad, and yeah, it's really bad.
Seemed not great to me.
No. She has 2 defense and stealth. That's it.
Yeah.
Like she dies. She has regeneration, but who cares? Like she's going to die.
Yeah.
To a puff of wind.
It never mattered.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it kind of mattered. She did get to excessive healing a Corvus death blow,
right?
Which was helpful. I mean, she didn't die instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, I got the perfect Corvus turn off. He double death blow, double flurried.
Ugh, that's miserable.
Yeah, he death blowed into Cassandra. She exceptional healing to live. He moved up, did the flurry attack into Red Skull. He pushed it off onto Sabretooth. Sabretooth got hit. Sabretooth then walks up, swings at me, does maybe 1 damage, I think. And then I bought another death blow. Thanos did his Death Decree with him being injured. 11 dice death blow on Red Skull, kills him, and then walks over and kills Cassandra with the flurry. And took the objective token back.
Turns out Black Order's not too bad, huh?
Yeah, well, mostly Corvus is not too bad. Corvus is pretty awesome when he has power and help. Alrighty, Jeremy, you had something you want to talk about for currently playing?
Oh, currently still playing the models that I chose for the fantasy draft thing we did. I'm happy with all the choices I made, but the builds, the lists that continuously come up are either the obvious choices or the things that are just kind of like, let me not do the obvious choice. And I don't really enjoy any of it. I'd rather put a list. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think that's kind of a product of what you drafted, or just that it's a draft list?
I think because there's some garbage in there that kind of got chunked in it for reasons of like panic selections.
Yeah, the draft happens. Yeah.
I feel like the next draft we have needs to have something. We need to have a carrot at the end of it. Because I feel like we're doing it now, or at least me, because I played, I don't know, maybe 6 games with these models. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, I've done this, I get it, that's fine. But there's nothing to win by trying hard, and just doing the interesting things is not the best things. I don't know.
So you mean the actual league needs to have some kind of prize at the end?
Yeah, something.
Okay, well, that's going to happen because we intentionally didn't do one this time because this is a play test.
So if there was something at the end, I definitely would be making different choices. But like currently, with all the models that are out, and as kind of wonky as the dice are in this game, like a win is kind of a big deal when you manage to get one out. But taking non-optimal models and then like, I don't know, making your way through a game is not ideal.
I think what you're experiencing is directly a result of the way you drafted and not necessarily of what everyone did.
Yeah.
And I mean that because you obviously sold out hard for specific meta models. And so your draft bench is very lopsided.
Yeah.
You have your 3 amazing models, and then you have like 4 fuckheads and 2 worthless guys.
Sure.
And so where I'm not really noticing that, because I managed to build basically 2 cohesive teams out of my 10. And so I felt like I can I can build 2 completely different factions, and within those, to be fair though, the Black Order I drafted is extremely repetitive anyway, so you're kind of just taking the 3 guys. The problem I'm noticing is I have too many 2-pointers, which is probably not a problem most people have. It's just weird.
I just have to me, I have too many dead models. So it becomes an obvious choice, or play something that's not optimal. And I don't like either of that.
That's kind of why I stopped playing Brotherhood, is because I felt like I had my 2 or 3 amazing models and everybody else was just there.
Yeah.
And didn't really have anything to contribute. And it was just like, okay, well, every game just becomes my 3 good models win me the game, and everybody else just kind of stands around.
Yes. And one thing I find, at least this has shown me, there's a couple things. One thing it's shown me by doing this type of league is how much I appreciate 3-point models and just being able to shift them in and out. There's so many good 3-pointers and lots of good 2-pointers, and just being able to kind of like mix those in to add variety and also keep like, they still have the punch or the draw or whatever, even though they're different. You can do those things.
Yeah, you get to like salt to taste instead of getting stuck with whatever you grabbed.
Yeah.
It's like, well, normally Hawkeye's great, but I'm trying to play like Web Warriors and he does nothing. So like, it's just different.
And now that new models are coming out, like there's certain things I want to do and try that I'm definitely like, I'm kind of over this, because a lot of the models I drafted are the old school stuff. I don't have anything new.
So, how many games have you played with your list? Just 3?
I think I played 6.
Really?
Yeah, I played a lot.
With your league list?
Yeah.
Who did you play? Because I recorded all your games.
I've played...
And I don't even think I have 6 league games. I think I have exactly 6 league games.
I think I played 3, and then I've played 2 or 3. Like, because we played Monday and Tuesday, and then we played the week before the Thursday, so 2. Maybe it's 5. I think I played 5.
Okay. Because I played Jason once. I think you played Jason once.
Mm-hmm.
I played you at least twice. I think just the twice. No.
Yeah, we played twice.
Yeah, we just played twice. Did you play Richard once?
Yes, I played Richard.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you just played more than I realized, because a decent amount of them weren't versus me.
Mm-hmm.
Parker, what have you noticed with all the games you've played since we drafted? I like that smile. The fuck.
Well, I have not got to play one yet, but I will say that because as speaking for someone who has not played a lot of the game in general, I purposely drafted factions and models that I haven't got to play at all yet, so that because I knew this was a league where I could make sure to get some games, not really high stakes. I'm going to play against people who are not playing crazy optimized list. I had like space. Because let's say I want to learn how to play Criminal Syndicate, and then my opponent goes, all right, here's Magneto, Thanos, Sabretooth. I go, great, this will be a lot of learning I'll do this game, I guess. Here we go. So, I'm not, and I knew this was going to be not a fair ground, but there's going to be a handicap. My opponents were going to be handicapped by something. And so I was excited to play something brand new. So I think maybe for that reason, a draft format is a little bit more engaging for someone who hasn't played a lot of the models. And for somebody who has seen the width and breadth of the game, it's more just, stifling than it is exploratory. I can see that.
Yeah. How would you guys, moving forward, like to see the draft league handled? Would you think we should go to structured games? Because I feel like that's hard for a lot of people to make, like a preset schedule. Or, Parker, do you feel like if I told you you have to play Jason on this Thursday, do you think that would just give you motivation to make it?
If I had a schedule, I would yeah, it would just I would definitely I would just try to be there, right? I would absolutely be there. I could move my day around that and try to make it happen. The only problem is if it was arbitrary and you told me and I just couldn't do it, then I just forfeit because I there are some things I just can't make happen.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of that thing. You'd have to find out when everybody's generic availability is and then schedule things, and then I suppose that would work. But I don't know if that's reasonable or useful. I think that I think Jeremy's first point of a carrot at the end of it, and this is like you said, this is exploratory. This is the first one we were trying it out. But I think having a carrot at the end is the thing that keeps veteran players excited about fun, goofy leagues like this. Is when there's something at the end, even if it's just a token, literally a token. Even if it's a very token something, it's something they can hang their hat on and go, yeah, I would much rather be playing the new thing and exploring the next part of the game rather than, doing this hash brown of a game right now. But I'll do that because, it's for this, it's for that, whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of brainstorming right now, and just let me know how this hits you guys. What if the points you earn per league game was based around the amount of money you spent on your list? Would that make sense? Or do you think it wouldn't matter because, so basically saving as much money as possible through the draft would help? Because if you built your roster around, I only spent $70 on my roster, so when I win a game, I get more points than somebody else. Would that be interesting, or do you think we should encourage everybody to spend all their money?
That is an interesting idea.
Because if I spend $70 on Magneto and I win I win 4 games, well, my roster is probably going to be $90-something. So maybe it won't be. Maybe it's not as valuable because that model was considered expensive or popular or whatever.
Well, what if? I mean, you could go a little bit different in that when you compare, when 2 players play, you compare point cost of rosters, and whoever has the lowest point goes first. They have priority. Just give it to them.
Ooh.
Because it's random any fucking way. They might as well get it.
So do it like an initiative bid from X-Men, basically. Mm-hmm. It's I only spent $82.
I mean, if you want to give something, that would be a good one to give because it's random. It shouldn't matter anyway, right? Even though it does.
Oh, no, it definitely matters. But I was just thinking, no, that's probably the most important role of the game is priority in some matchups. Now, some matchups it's not as important, but sometimes it's real fucking important.
It's real bad. Real bad sometimes. I don't know that there should be any sort of other... I don't know. I don't like adding rules to games. It reminds me of Privateer Press games where I was like, please God, don't add any more things to this. It's already hard enough.
So you don't like you just think we should go play games?
Yeah.
The problem is I like having an open league structure because as soon as you're all right, well, you're going to play one guy and then Parker can't make it, so Jason and Parker didn't get their game in. All right, well, now what happens? It's what happens if some guy, what if we just say it's open to any number of games, some guy plays 30 games, how do you balance it versus Parker who played 1?
I think the whole idea should be like a tournament, and everybody has to play everyone eventually. I mean, that's kind of the deal. You have to get a game with at least 6 out of 8 people, maybe. Maybe make that the goal. I don't know. But that's fine. It definitely shouldn't be, 2 people can play all day on a Sunday and gain anything from it. That's not cool either.
Yeah. Ooh. What if we did kind of a narrative thing? Because if character's unique, we know we'll have an even distribution of factions. And so we could do whichever team of affiliations does the best. So
that would be cool.
We could do Web Warriors versus Spider Foes and stuff so you'll earn points for whatever team you're on. So we could Defenders and Web Warriors are a team, and we could do Avengers and A-Force are a team, and then when you beat one of your opposing affiliations, you get a point or something. Could be interesting. I'll have to think about it because that's obviously very abstract.
Also,
we could just do good guys, bad guys, and see who takes the league.
Good guys, bad guys,
Also-
man. That'd be great.
yeah, the good guys, bad guys makes sense. But there's one other issue, kind of, which is for folks like you may have to change drafting a little bit for folks like me who got, I think I got 4 leaders. Like, does that mean
Right.
I just get to choose which faction I'm levying every time?
It'd be whatever affiliation you played in that game.
Right. So I
So yeah, if you never played criminals would have 0 points.
could, right.
If you had, well, I mean, you could play criminals without Kingpin, but it'd be not great. I guess that would make the affiliations with multiple leaders more impactful. Because you could do like Sin and Red Skull could start getting points. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but I think that might be an interesting way to go. Because that's some way we could balance it around, not just, like, well, Jeremy played the most games. It's like, well, yeah, but
Yeah.
okay. So moving on to hobby projects. I'm working on the apartment building right now. It is a very fun kit to build. And so if you're considering buying it, it has my recommendation as a thumbs up. Like, I have had a lot of fun putting it together so far.
I can vouch for that. I was in the room when he started looking at it. He was pretty giddy. He's like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. They put a lot of detail into it. And it, like, at first I was like, all right, well, it's just a big box and it's $80. Like, it's kind of a question mark. Like, is that worth it to you? But the kit is very well structured. It's very modular. You get to change all kinds of stuff about it. I'm excited to get it painted, honestly. Like, I don't know how much I'm actually going to use it as terrain. It's actually a fun little model kit.
Yeah, after seeing that, I am more interested in getting the Sanctum Sanctorum just for fun. Just like to paint it, it would be fun to have. Because even if you never put it on the table, it's cool.
You know you got to buy 3 of them, right?
No,
There are 3 of them.
not only in the MCU.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that not normally in
No, that's bullshit, and that's bullshit in the Marvel Comics universe.
I like that. They're just making up wild shit.
Well, that's why at the end of the first movie, there's only one left. Well, I guess kind of there's the one in China too, Hong Kong too, but
Because they fix it.
yeah. Also, the Sanctum Sanctorum in the comic books doesn't have any sort of significance. It's not like a holy relic by itself. It's just a goofy place where the rules of the metaphysical universe, don't apply very well. But it's not like a seal against evil or something like they do in the movies.
Oh, okay. Jeremy, is there anything you're working on you want to talk about?
Nope. Just finishing up the taco
Okay.
truck. That's it.
Alrighty. So moving on to our main topic. Do you want me to lead into this, Parker? You want to talk about it?
Sure.
I can lead off if you want.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
This is my
So
topic,
today-
but I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, so Parker decided that he wanted us to talk about this. Speaking as a person who buys everything, should you buy everything? And if you don't want to buy everything, when should you stop buying things? And so I think the perspective we're looking at mostly is in our play group, the majority of players that like this game a lot, and they have been buying basically everything for the game. And so as the releases continue forging ahead, we have to kind of make the decision, are we going to continue buying, a faction a month, basically? Because at one point, you just end up with so many models, you can't play them all. And you can't even really build and paint them all. And so when should you draw the line?
Yeah, there's there's some people like do it from a monetary standpoint, just period, I can't buy them all. But
Sure.
I don't care about the money. I care about like the ability to actually experience the entire universe that this game is a part of. Like, I think it's really cool that they've basically set a precedence with the rate they've been going. Eventually, the Marvel universe will be represented in this game, right? Like, it's going to be almost every single thing in the Marvel universe. That's awesome. That being said, geez, I could never buy that many comic books or read that many stories. It's been taking a lifetime to do all that. It's not going to happen for this. So I'm never going to play every single thing. So when do you stop? When do you say enough is enough? Not this one. What criteria do you use to say that?
Well, I know for me, I'm currently have bought everything. If I could take it all back, the only thing I would probably unbuy is the Ant-Man and Wasp kit. Because even the Sin and Viper kit, while Viper is not even worth anything as a paperweight, I do like Sin, and she was fun. She was okay to put together, but she's been fun on the table so far.
So I look at it as there's a couple reasons. As a person who buys everything, I'm a completionist kind of person. I can't handle it if there's something out that, especially they're releasing things at my rate of being able to build, paint, and get them on the table before the next thing drops. So
Yeah.
they've managed to hit a certain niche for me personally that works out. But for me, I can't handle it that there could be a card out that I might not own that I want to play today right now. Like, for me, I'm very impulse buy. I need it now, or I just won't get it at all. So I get everything. I need it. And I like the ability, even Ant-Man and Wasp. I feel like one day I'm going to look at a list and go, wait a second, what does Ant-Man do? Shit, I need him in my list. And he's done, and he's ready and good to go. So that's...
Hey, what if you need to play No Escape in a list and you just don't have
exactly.
it?
What if you don't have it? You'll have to use something less superior.
Yeah. Yeah, so the problem specifically for me with Ant-Man and Wasp is I think everything in that kit is terrible. The Pym Particles card is probably the best thing about the box, and that's saying a lot because that is not a good card. It's just whatever. But I own them. I really like the Ant-Man Waddle. I don't like the wings on Wasp, but it's really hard to do anything with that, so I don't fault them for that. I like that the Ant-Man is true scale Ant-Man. Like, he's the actual size of Ant-Man when he shrinks. That's really cool. So you can use real world items on his base and it looks to scale. It's very fun. But yeah, so the way I look at it is I have always been very much a completionist as well, just like Jeremy. I want to have all the cards. I want to have all the missions. I want to have all the models. Now, we are getting to the point where I have to start considering it, because we are getting up there around 80 to 100 models, which is not necessarily a problem, but it's just to the point where there are a lot of things in the Marvel Universe I don't care about. Like, for example, the Midnight Suns, I'm not a huge fan. I'm still going to buy those, especially because Doctor Strange looks really cool. And the what's his name? The Hood. The Hood looks pretty cool too. Mm-hmm. But the other characters I could give or take or leave. I don't really care. Dormammu looks pretty cool. I'll definitely have him at some point. But moving on to when I would stop. Basically, if I see no value in a box at all, like Ant-Man and Wasp is the example for me. I probably would not buy them knowing what I know now, but I bought them at the time because I was just buying everything at the time. It didn't matter what it was. Mm-hmm. But if Ant-Man and Wasp came out today, I saw the cards in it, I would probably pass. Just because I don't think I would ever get around to paying them, so it didn't matter.
I always find it pretty interesting that when we're up there playing, there's lots of people that play that only have a handful of models, and they're just fine, and they're happy with that. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think there's this really weird situation that happened that was not intended. Because when this game came out, it was October of 2018. Which, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. Something happened not long after. And so the game dropped. We got one wave release, basically, because we got Wakandans and Asgard. And then the game shut down, basically. Or everything shut down. And so we were still kind of playing in our little pod, but we kind of stopped around, February? We kind of quit playing. So we basically played the game for 4 months. Then we kind of stopped from February to March. And it was okay, now what? And it was well, this is the only game we're playing. Nobody else is here, so there's nobody else to play with. So I guess we'll just play against each other. And when it's 2 to 4 people as your play group playing against each other all the time, you want to play new stuff. And so we were almost forced into buying everything because we didn't want to play, Avengers versus Cabal every match. We didn't want to play Wakanda versus Avengers every match. And so it kind of just evolved into everyone is total completion because we don't want to play mirror matches all day long.
as because I wasn't beginning to play mirror matches with you guys all day long, I was fine getting everything because the way this game is designed is the game very much encourages you to have access to everything because Splash is such a big deal, right? Like they print Deadpool and they print a tactics card for him. Both Deadpool special rule and the tactics cards works really well in exactly one faction that he's not a member of, right? so you're like, okay, well, Deadpool's just like, he seems like a really efficient criminal. He should definitely be a criminal. And then you're like, okay, so in that way, this game is similar to X-Wing Mark 1. Because in X-Wing Mark 1, they do the same thing. They would print a card, and then that card was okay for the model they printed. It was really good for this other model that's already been out for a long time. So you had to buy the one box to get it for something else.
I just want to point out that Wolverine and Sabretooth are in X-Force, so you could actually argue that card was printed for X-Force. So it actually makes sense that it's with Deadpool.
What, Chimichanga?
Oh, you're talking about... I thought you were talking about a different card.
Oh,
Never
no.
mind. See,
No.
you always got to say the card you're
Sorry,
talking about.
I'm talking about...
I thought you were talking about Exceptional Healing.
Oh, no, Exceptional Healing didn't come with Deadpool, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
it didn't. I
right.
just thought that's what you were talking about.
No,
That it's really good on Deadpool. I was like, well, yeah, but it's... Yeah, but I understand.
No, sorry.
It actually makes so much more sense now that they put Sabretooth and Wolverine together because they were both going to end up being in X-Force.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually anyone that just wants to play X-Force got a break not having to buy like Storm or Cyclops, right? It's like, well, you could have been Sabretooth and Toad, and it could have been Wolverine and Scott. Right. And like that's two dead models for an X-Force player. Right. They actually were being very nice combining them into one box.
I don't think... No, I will say this. A lot of people had a lot of complaints about X-Wing Mark 1 because it felt like they were whether
trying to
they were getting you to buy more models.
Mandatory.
Right.
They were trying to force you to buy stuff you didn't want.
At one time, you had to buy 4 or 5 copies of this random scum faction fighter in order to have enough copies of the one card it came with to play the rest of the game effectively, right? So, that was definitely something, a money grab they were doing it in that part of the game, and they haven't done it in Mark II. They went away from it because the constant pressure, public pressure that they got, the feedback they got that people didn't appreciate it. This game doesn't do that. It's a different game company, of course, but a different ethic. But they do try to make it as fair as possible. And what's kind of funny is if you bought the core set and the initial boxes, like the Wave 1 and 2, you probably have every tactics card that's important because the broken tactics cards came out in those boxes. Like after Wave 1 and 2, what other broken tactics card that's super important in the game do you have to have?
So the two that come up a lot are Field Dressing, that comes in CP13,
right,
which is Winter Soldier and Vision,
and
the second one is Med Pack. I think it's CP17, comes with Gamora and Nebula.
Okay. Yeah, so if you
that's pretty much it.
Right. So since those are the only quote unquote necessary buys, the game is very modular, and it's even more modular now. It's obvious that they've really pulled back on the intense universal cards printed in boxes, and now they're even printing crappy universal cards in multiple boxes. Grievous ones. So
good point.
So
Heave-ho.
Yeah, Heave-ho, right? So
1-2 punch.
Right. They're printing mediocre cards in multiple boxes. So I guess my point is that I think they're encouraging people to not buy the whole game, or they're making it functional.
Yeah, they definitely have an eye out for what people will need out of the only thing. I think the Thanos box. So we have Gamora, Nebula, Vision, and Winter Soldier, Thanos. And I want to say there's one more that's like a semi-needed buy. But those are the big 3. And they're getting to the point now where missions are plentiful enough. Like, if you don't have fear, it's not going to kill you. If you don't have gamma waves, that might be a problem. Gamma waves kind of a unique mission. But you could live without gamma if you also have demons. You could get by.
Right. Also, the missions... There's so many of them now, and also we have the assumption that coming down the road every month there's another set of mission or two that comes out, which is going to further increase the number out there. I think
It's usually one.
Right. So I guess I asked the question of when do you stop? Jeremy says never, because as long as
that's for him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Jeremy
I think
says
he's
never.
right for him because there's the only negative you could mention for Jeremy buying everything is that it costs a lot of money, and eventually he'll run out of space to put minis, which neither of those are like a real problem if you don't find them to be a problem. So obviously, if you can't afford to buy everything, don't buy everything. But Jeremy's not only keeping up with playing a lot of this stuff, he's keeping up with painting all of it, which is really the hard part for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're putting words in his mouth. Is that true, Jeremy? Would you, as far as you know right now?
No, I'm completely fine putting words in Jeremy's mouth.
Yeah. Well, I know you love putting things in Jeremy's mouth, but
Thank you.
What is the?
Wait. It's an old wooden ship.
Yeah, old wooden ship.
Jesus
So
Christ.
Jeremy, do you actually enjoy the painting process? Like if you had these models sitting around and you knew you were never going to play with them, like Ebony Maw 2 comes out tomorrow, but he was paired with somebody that you knew you wanted to play with, so you bought the kit. Or maybe you just buy the kit anyway, whatever. Do you paint the model you know you'll never play with just because you like painting them?
I paint them all because it's part of completing the whole deal. Like I want them accessible at all times, regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're all.
So, but do you like loathe the painting process? You're like, I just got to get this done. Like, but you don't actually like doing it.
I like the finished product. The process is a process, itself. Like it's kind of like putting together a puzzle. Like I really don't enjoy putting together a puzzle, but every time you find a piece, you're like, yay! I found a piece of this 2,000 piece puzzle.
Is it kind of like sorting your cards for a card game? You're like, I don't really enjoy the act of sorting it, but I really like having it sorted.
So when we were talking about this, like when I played Magic, like I've always been kind of the same, but I didn't have to own every card. And I don't know why for this game I have to own them all, because I didn't for Privateer Press either. I didn't own everything.
Yeah.
But this one seems to be like, it's achievable to own everything. I really love it, and I want to.
So I've been waiting to say this, but I think for people getting into the game now, and as far as, well, real quick, just to finish off the whole monetary question, obviously you should not overspend beyond your means. If you're spending money on this game that you need to clothe your children, please stop buying things for this game.
Please don't judge
I
me.
work at a game
Not on the
store,
air.
and I see this on a regular basis, and it's just like if you get to the register and you're like, I want to buy this $30 item, and you have to like check your bank account to make sure that you can buy gas to get home, don't buy it. Like, calm down. You are addicted to buying models. Like, put it back, wait a couple days, wait for your paycheck to come in, don't overspend. And if it's not realistic for you to afford all the kits, obviously don't go try and afford all the kits. But that being said, I find that the models I buy, I very much enjoy assembling them, if nothing else, and then I eventually get around to painting them usually. Or at least a decent... The ones I care about get painted, we'll say that. Because I definitely have a lot of stuff I never get around to painting. But when it comes to these things, I think when the game first came out, like we said earlier, being game complete was much more reasonable, and now it's easier to keep up on. If you are a new player getting in, like we have a other Brandon at the store just bought into the game, and it's like, well, yeah, just go buy, and I turn around, it's like the 54 boxes on that shelf at $40 each, and I'm like, question mark. Like, maybe don't do that. Like, that sounds ridiculous. Don't. But what I would recommend for players getting in now, obviously buy the core set. I've met a couple people that didn't want to buy the core set. It is the single best purchase in miniature gaming at the moment, in my opinion. You get enough models to play a tournament level game, which is not a ridiculous, like, it's not even like they're overpriced. If I told you I would sell you Marvel figures at $10 a piece and they're high quality plastic, like, you'd be all over that. Like, it's not like a ridiculous amount. It's like $20 to make them game pieces and to come with all the cards and tokens you need. That's a reasonable amount of money. Like, go look up Knight models Marvel figures, which were illegally printed. And even those models are going for like $30 or $40 on fucking eBay right now. Like, whatever. So anyway, what I'd recommend to the new players is just pick a faction, get the starter box, pick a faction, and then just round out that faction. Get to the point where you are comfortable and you can build a variety of lists from that affiliation, and then if you want to expand from there. But don't just go out and say, I'm going to buy everything, because that's a daunting task at this point. And so start small. Like, if you want to play Web Warriors, buy all the Web Warrior stuff, buy the core set, get it together, play a couple games, see what you need to buy to fill out your squad. Because obviously you probably will only have, was that 5 Web Warriors at that point? Yeah, because I guess you could buy Daredevil. Daredevil's a Web Warrior. So that's 6. So yeah, you'd still have to fill out a couple more models and then find what you like. And then if you want to move into like Criminals or something, then go from there. What do you guys think?
I think it's a 100% like, it's really good advice to not buy everything in this game now if you're just getting started. I think I would probably, if I knew the person, it's also like the person I'm talking to, right? Because I've been in game stores before, counseling folks and getting them hyped, because I love being a hype man for games that I'm playing. And if I find out that person just likes Marvel, like just the Marvel universe, I'm going to tell them, buy the core set and your favorite characters, and you're going to have a blast. But if they told me they're like a miniature gamer and they like to do well, I'm going to say, okay, well, these are the 3 you need Thanos, probably, you need Gamora. Like, if you want to be efficient, you can get things around these characters that have these really strong cards in them, because you're probably going to be sad the first time you play, your opponent has these cards and you don't. And then, depending upon the reaction, I could counsel them further. But I know the very first thing I want to know whenever I'm starting a game is, when am I going to get fucked? like when is my opponent's wallet going to beat me? Because if that's happening, I don't want to be a part of that. I need to be on at least a level playing field as my opponent whenever I'm playing a game.
Are you referring to like Magic as an example?
Yes. Like if I started Magic and my opponent beat me because they were willing to spend $400, I will give them $400 to have the same deck as them right then, so that I'm playing the game they're playing. I don't want to play a different game that they're not playing. If you're going to play me with money, then I'm going to spend money to play that game with you if I'm excited about playing the game. I don't care. Yeah. But
are you saying that you're not one to do things by halves?
No, I'm all in. But the point, but here's the thing. The reason why I brought up this whole point to begin with, and I know we're segueing back off of, you asked the question, what do you think about a new player starting? If I was, players who've been at the start of the game were role models, right? Like when people come into the store and, like I say, I say we, like, as if I've been playing a lot of games since the beginning. But the point is, people who have played a lot of the games since the beginning and have every single model in the collection and they're all painted, they're all ready to go, those people are role models for anybody who wants to start the game. And if they look at the role models and they see the role models only have every single model for the game, they're immediately going to be intimidated by that. They're going to say, well, crap, do I have to have every model in this game to play? I guess and something that does not happen in other miniatures games is that intimidation factor is not there as much, in my opinion, because of the way almost every miniatures games factionalizes and makes things hard factionalized, right? So you're like, I'm going to play this faction. I am a Cygnar player. I am a Rebel X-Wing player. I am a Imperial Guard Imperial Guard 40K. Yeah, whatever. So I'm playing this faction, and so anybody who comes in to look at the game goes, oh, okay, so what I need to do is get the collection of the thing that I'm excited to play. Whereas in Marvel Crisis Protocol, they look at your guys' those the double-decker bus you guys have, and it's just full of every Marvel character in the game, and potentially every other character in the entire Marvel universe if this keeps going at this clip. So that would be very intimidating for a new player, even if they didn't even know what was on the wall behind them, even if they didn't see the hundreds of dollars worth of stuff they would have to buy in order to get to that level. Just knowing that there's that the game encourages maybe you to buy every single thing. I think it's imperative at some point to make it really obvious, I guess. But right now, if you came into our game store, it's not obvious that you don't have to buy every model. It looks like you have to buy every one to play. So I hear Jeremy. I am also the person. I cannot stand not having the option. I want every option. I also love exploring every option and putting down a model on a table that people see low value in, and I find value in it, and it surprises them. It's the reason why I gain a competitive edge because of this low model, low perceived value that I find value. I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things to do in any game. So I love having every single model. I'll probably keep buying every single model because I love the Marvel Universe as well. But at some point, do I quit just because I literally can never play them all? I can't. I can't put down the entire Marvel Universe onto a table. It's never going to happen. And so that means I bought a piece of plastic that will just be a piece of plastic that I assembled and perhaps painted. It'll just be that ever. That seems maybe even unfair to it.
I think this game changes is a little bit different than other games, though. I mean, you have 60 to 80 years worth of comic books to back up some of these characters. Like the depth.
IP, yeah, it is the longest running IP.
Yeah,
outside of historicals, which the world.
My Napoleonic guy, like, who gets seriously? Come on now.
But the best part is those are the shallowest games because it's like, this guy has a spear, he stabs you on a 3. This guy also has a spear, he stabs you on a 3, and they're like, "What are we doing here, guys?" Like,
yeah,
there's no point just rolling the same stats versus each other.
I mean, one of the coolest things is like my kids who don't, they're 9, they don't know how these games work, but what they do know is they know it's Spider-Man, they know it's Iron Man, they know that the MCU is basically on my tabletop, and they're watching me paint the guys, and they get super psyched about it too. And that's really cool for folks that have that situation. I mean, that's pretty unique in a game. I got to tell you, like, a dragon is a dragon, but Iron Man is on TV right now. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. As far as like other games having hard faction lines, that's mostly true. I would actually say some games like 40K, it's actually even a deeper pool because like we talked about like the length of like the IP running. Well, 40K has been running as a model company for so much longer than most companies that there is a really deep well of models in each faction. Just most of them are like mail order or out of print or custom or, special order from, Forge World or whatever. And so you might have, even though because let's say the most amount of boxes you'd have to buy for one faction is like, let's say 15. Like, let's say Avengers had 15 boxes that Avenger models were in, which is probably a big overshoot. But I'm just trying to be safe. And so 15 box sets for Avengers stuff compared to all of the things that you would need to buy to play Space Marines or Imperial Guard or Eldar, and then the duplicates you would have to buy to fill out those armies. It's like, well, I want to play Orcs. Well, right now the competitive Orc list, let's say, is running 6 squads of boys at 30 guys each, and so you need to buy, 18 boys boxes to have your boys squads. And then you need to go buy Ludas and Scorcha guys and mechs and psychers and a war boss and knobs and trucks and cannons and these stupid grot weapons that are $35 for one cannon. And so you do all that math, and then the new book comes out, which it's about to in about 2 weeks, and now there's a different thing that's good, and so basically half what you bought is irrelevant. Like, so it's very different from going from game to game. I think the reason most people want to be completely complete is because they don't have technical restrictions on list building. Like, you can take whatever you want. There is no hard line affiliation. Like, if you don't want to play Web Warriors, you don't have to. You could also build a list that's legal in 7 factions. Like, you could do whatever you want. It's like you throw in a Rogue Agent and Kingpin, and there you go. That's 9 affiliations right there.
So, Brandon, the question we started with is what makes you stop? Jeremy says he never does. You said, if I can tell for sure the box has nothing in it that I want, but all you need is one thing that you want and you're in.
If I look at the contents of the box and I go, nothing in here grabs me, absolutely nothing, not even the tactics cards, not even the mission, I would probably say pass. There just hasn't really been one yet. Because even Ant-Man, like, I'm not against Ant-Man. I just think that they're silly, and I do not like the way they're transmitted to the tabletop very well.
Do you? So let's. What if there was a tactics card? One tactics card in a box. Would you buy it? I'm just giving you a hypothetical. One tactics card that said. Asgardians get to blankety blank, and the models are models you never want, no missions, no nothing. But one tactics card says Asgardians.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And you're looking at
to
it.
think. Like right now, if you said, like, would you? Because we're basically saying, would you buy the Vision box set? Right. That's basically what we're saying.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I had already bought the Vision box set before I knew field dressing was in it because I think Vision's cool, and I think Bucky's cool.
Okay, so not that example.
Right. No, but for most people, like, I'm not excited to necessarily play them, but I thought the Vision model was kind of cool, and I thought Bucky was cool. So would I buy the? There literally isn't one that I don't like any of the models.
I think I got one for you.
If field dressing came with Ant-Man and Wasp, yes, I would buy Ant-Man and Wasp.
What if Cassandra Nova came by herself?
Okay.
Would you have bought
That's a hard
that?
question. But she comes with exceptional healing, and it's the only place to get exceptional healing.
No. She came by herself, and she has the card that lets you control somebody else. It says Jean Grey or Cassandra Nova can play it, but that's it.
The most convoluted card in the history of convolution.
that ridiculous card that just says you can make somebody hit somebody else. That's what she came with. And let's say she came with a mission. It's take it or leave it mission. So
Ooh. You might have had me before the mission.
Oh,
but if
really?
She has a mission. I'm probably buying her.
So you buy it regardless of the mission. Okay.
If she was $25 and came with a mission, I would buy her.
So you spent $25 for a mission. You're fine with that.
It's a model too, but yeah, I'm basically buying the mission.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I probably would do that.
Your bar is so low.
If the mission was like identical to another mission that I don't really care about, then I would probably not. Like if it was Mutant Madman. If it came out as just a copy of Mutant Madman but energy defense, I would probably not buy it. But if it came out as like Demons Downtown, I would buy it.
Okay, so we're basically established Jeremy's bar is no bar. Brandon's bar is one perhaps low. Okay thing. Okay.
Well, because keep in mind, I have everything, and so my bar is obviously low.
I get it. But my original question was, what makes you stop? And so far, we got those two. Okay.
I mean,
but I'm in a different place now. Go ahead, Jerry.
Look at the world that we live in now, though. Like, how many people would pay actual money so their guy can have red shoes in a video game?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to spend $25 so I can get a card that's playable on a game that I play. 100% yes, I will do that. I'm not buying red fucking shoes on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Sorry, not doing it.
So part of the thing we pay for in hobby games is the fact that what we're doing is niche, right? Like when you agree to play a hobby game, and I know this is the reason a lot of people don't play hobby games, you're committing to a monetary investment because you have a very small group of people running a company that are catering to what you want. Just like if I went out into the world and I went to a restaurant, I was like, I want you to make me sloppy joes and mac and cheese. Like, we don't serve that. I'm like, well, this is an outrage. Like, yeah, but if you go to sloppy joe's mac and cheese restaurant, it's going to be $20 a meal because there's only 4 people there. And it's because I'm an idiot. But, like, this is what you expect. Like, we're paying for very niche things. Like, they're crafting little, like, plastic dollies for us to fucking play in our little imaginary fights. But that's what we like doing, so it's going to be expensive. Right. And so, like, if everyone in the world played Marvel Crisis Protocol, these packs would probably be like $5 because the volume they'd be moving would justify the lower price.
Yeah, I guess. And so, I totally get it. Speaking from somebody who bought 5 copies of that random X-Wing fighter, so I could have 5 copies of that card you needed in
Star
the other
Viper.
game. Yeah, the Star Viper, you know it.
Because you need auto thrusters.
Yeah, you need auto thrusters. So, like, I bought so many Star Vipers for no reason.
Think of it for how annoying that is from a store perspective. Because we have no idea what comes in those boxes.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, everyone wants 4 of them. And so we need 25 copies of this stupid release that we normally only order 2 of. And it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
But now, as soon as we get told that we need them, the suppliers out because fuck us. Like, everyone's trying to order them all of a sudden.
Right.
It's very annoying.
Right.
It's annoying at every single level of the release.
So I think a lot of game companies are dealing with that. I think they're trying to move away from that. Like, everybody's got to have this one box in order to play your game. And I know MCP is doing a good job with that. We've talked about many times how the releases have all become, they feel more and more generic every time. They have character related to the model. They've done a good job of representing the model in the game, but they're not blowout models and blowout cards like we kind of saw in the beginning. They've found a Jedi curve, and they're sticking to that curve. I think for that reason, I guess I didn't answer the question for myself. For myself, I think I'm actually looking at it from that perspective now. If I see a faction or a group of models coming out that's just another version of models I already have. Let's say they decide the Midnight Suns are just Guardians of the Galaxy again. They're very much the same thing. With Guardians of the Galaxy with a different flavor, because models are becoming more and more generic, less and less specialized. If that happens, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring myself to do it. And I think that's the reason why I would be getting a new model, is so I felt like I could. For example, a good example is Viper. Viper is a great example of a model that you look at this and you go, wow, there's nothing special about this model. There's nothing about her that I want. She doesn't add anything to the game. That's the model I'm not going to buy this box. And I bought it because Sin was in it, like you did, and I think Sin is awesome and great for the game. But basically there's a Viper tax on having Sin. And I think there's going to be a point at which I look at new models and go, I'm not willing to pay the tax. I'm just going to go ahead and play the game I have right now, because I don't need another version of Sin. Sorry, I don't need another version of Viper. I don't need another version of Cable. I don't need another version of Jean Grey or whatever model they print the same thing on, just a different,
Peter Parker. Don't need two Peter Parkers. Got it. I canceled your pre-order.
No, that's not. No, that's exactly the opposite. Because the thing is, I think the rules are the thing that I'm going to probably be motivated by the most, and because I think now, I don't think they're going to print another field dressing. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't even know if they'll print another exceptional healing. I don't even know if that'll happen, because it feels like all the tactics cards coming out in boxes say old generic crappy card or specifically for this model.
I don't know that I necessarily agree, because I think the Falcon pack was an example of what a lot of cards can be, like the character-specific buff card, and the generic modified dice card. Like those two cards, it's Advanced Maneuvers and Bird of Prey, I think is the name of them. Mm-hmm. So Bird of Prey is the example of how you make an attack card good. And it might be too good, but it is very specific, so I think it's okay. And then Advanced Maneuvers is exactly what we've been asking for. It's a generic dice modification card. Like, it's exactly what we've been saying we want. And at this point, you could run Recalibration Matrix, Advanced Maneuvers, Kunlun Training, Exceptional Healing, and Odin's Blessing in one list. And you just have 5 cards that say fuck dice.
If that card came in a box with 2 copies of Viper, I'm making a hypothetical.
Yeah.
If that card came in a box with 2 copies of Viper, I would get it actually. And the reason why is we already have 4 other fuck dice cards. I don't know when I'm gonna. I could build a list with all 5, but I don't think that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And that would actually make me. And the thing is, this has nothing to do with money. I don't give a shit about the dollar amount. I just don't know if I would want to expand my collection to have that. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, I love the Marvel Universe so much. As soon as a box said the Hood on it, I don't care that Dr. Voodoo doesn't inspire me in any way. It says the Hood. I love the Hood. Like, I love the new Doctor Strange costume. I love that costume from his, one of his iterations. I mean, I think his current one actually looks different, but I love that costume. I love that costume. I am the guy, Jeremy, that pays $20 for red shoes in Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite, but I am that guy. I will do that if my thing that I love is going to look cool doing it, whatever it is, I will pay for that. So
I actually just checked, and I think that's the costume he has in Vapors of Valtor.
I think it is. No, he also has his
He's got like a purple cape too, though.
Well,
yeah.
the one of the cards he has like his like kind of like a street clothes look that he has in the comic books. I did a comic corner on when Doctor Strange was first unveiled.
Okay.
But at any rate, I think I don't know. I do not know where my money and my mouth will actually meet. Well, I don't know when I'll actually run out of patience for the same generic model printed again. Maybe a Viper box will never come. Maybe a double Viper box will never happen, and there will always
I would be very surprised if they did a double Viper box. I think there'd be outrage.
Right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is, remember, I'm using Viper as the placeholder for generic model we already have in a different faction, right?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
If there was a double Gamora box or a double Viper box or something like that, I think I would. I guess that's where I draw the line. But I didn't draw the line with Ant-Man and Wasp, and I
got it. If you could take it back, would you buy the Daredevil Bullseye box just because it has climbing gear in it?
That's a good example. Well, I would, because I like Daredevil. Actually, I'm excited to put Daredevil on the board when I play Web Warriors. I wanted to play Bullseye. He's just bad. I just wanted to. I want to believe that he's playable, but he's not.
You want to believe.
I want to believe. I think. Well, actually, here's another good example. One of the models I'm really excited about, Amazing Spider-Man and Black Cat. I actually don't know if I'm going to buy the Sinister Six guys. I don't know if I'm going to play the Spider Foes. I do not know if I'm going to buy those boxes because I do not want to play Spider Foes. I think ever. I can't think of a reason why. Even though I love. Go ahead.
I'd be very surprised if you didn't buy those boxes. You were excited to play Lizard.
I know. I love Lizard. I love Green Goblin. I think Green Goblin in this game is awesome. But that faction, I think, is going to be a dud. I think it might be. I think it's going to be dead on arrival. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be the villain version of. Actually, no. I'm sorry. X-Force. I think it's going to be as bad as X-Force or X-Men or Inhumans. There's a couple factions right now that are just kind of meh.
X-Force is really close, though.
It is really close. They have a couple cool tactics cards, but
it's really just that Cable needed a better leadership. We think
that's what I mean. They'll always. I think every faction will have a tactics card that feels great, but there are leadership abilities out there that are so meh, and since those are the ones you have all the time, those are the passive abilities, right? Passive abilities always have a lot more value in games than something like a one shot. Unless you're Brotherhood and you get to play a one shot that is a passive. Fucking Magneto. So
you have to have priority.
Yeah. So
all right, let's kind of wrap this
topic up. I feel like we're beating around this bush. The moral of the story is from like you said at the very first moment, from 3 people who like to buy every single model in the game, is there ever a limit? And we basically found out that there is a stipulation for 2 of us and not for Jeremy. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would just say if you're looking at getting into a hobby game, hobby games are expensive, one. But what really it means when you get into a hobby game is that it is, because it's a hobby and not an expense, you will end up devoting all of your expendable income to your hobbies. That's just how expendable income works, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not going to spend it on Netflix, you're going to spend it on going to concerts or, going to do like dirt biking, or you're going to spend it on models. You're going to spend your expendable income somewhere. And so if it's going to be on hobby games, it really doesn't matter how expensive it is. The question actually becomes, how long will it take you to get to a point in the game where you're not behind? And in my opinion, that is buying one faction. Mm-hmm. And so if you get the core set, you're probably looking at about 5 other box sets, and you have a competitive list. You don't have a versatile list necessarily. Like you'll be able to change some stuff up, but you're not going to be like, I can play whatever I want. Like, well, you can play Web Warriors, like, but that's not anything, but you got some stuff there. And then by the time you're tired of playing that, you should have easily been able to afford to buy whatever else you want to buy. Or if you don't get tired of it, you just play Web Warriors forever. It's fine. But yeah, for me, the bar is pretty low on buying things. as far as Viper and a couple other models are concerned, I think if you view it from the perspective of they basically made a giant list of models they plan on making and then said, who can we pair these people up with? I think that's why we got Viper and Cassandra Nova. Because they didn't have anybody necessarily good to put with Jean, or specifically they had nobody else to put Cassandra Nova with that made sense. And so if you look at Viper, okay, Viper and Sin makes sense if you had already decided you're going to make Viper. But clearly, Viper should not be out before Carnage, right? Like hindsight, obviously that's not the case, but things come out in the order they come out in because of infrastructure. And so I don't think
also they're trying to time it with other things going on in the Marvel universe.
Like they wanted to get the second wave of leaders out for the two original factions, which is why Viper came out when she did. Like obviously there was no rush for Sin and Viper, but Sin was already earmarked as the second leader for Cabal, so she had to come out when Sam came out. And surprise, Sam came out close to the time his TV show ended. Like when you saw the model on TV, you could then go buy it. It's weird how that worked. But anyway. Yeah, so I think the bar's pretty low, and I don't think we're going to see dud releases. I think we just had a weird combination of things come out recently. Jeremy, do you have any final thoughts on buying everything other than do it?
For every 10 models or 10 box sets I don't buy, I will buy a gun instead. So
okay.
I will just buy the box sets for now until I start buying guns.
I'm on board, Jeremy. All right, so moving on, we now are going to move into the worst segment on the show, Parker's Comic Corner. What? What are you guys laughing about?
That was such an introduction! I think that was the best introduction I have ever heard.
And bag of dicks, go bag of dicks. Boom.
Your bag of dicks, sir.
Bag of dicks.
Why? I don't understand why you're so sad.
This is fantastic. That was wonderful. So in honor of our man Moon Knight, I've got a comic corner for you guys. It's a relatively new comic you can get. Is Moon Knight as a title. It's just the title Moon Knight. Was written by Lemire for a while, and he did some really cool stuff with it. If you don't know if you're going to like it, the very first graphic novel, which is a collection of the issue 1 through 5 of Moon Knight by Lemire, is called Lunatic, and it has a lot of critical acclaim. You may have heard about it, even if you don't know a lot about comic books, or you may have heard of this because it made a big splash when it got printed. For those who don't know a little bit about Moon Knight, we didn't talk about him yet in his backstory, which is he is a man. Mark Spector is his real name, but he suffers from dissociative identity disorder, formerly called multiple personality disorder, and he thinks that he died while a mercenary operation went wrong in Egypt. He ended up dying underneath the statue of Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god, and then was resurrected as Khonshu's avatar on Earth to, be a vigilante and go do good things. And we don't actually know if that happened because Mark Spector has dissociative disorder. Like he has hallucinations and he thinks he's one person when he's really not. He sees things in front of him that really aren't there. And so in the comics, when that was originally pitched as him having dissociative disorder, that wasn't really explored at all. Like Moon Knight's character was just kind of like, he has multiple personalities. This is why he's like different. But really, he's just Batman all the time. And that's what he was. He was a super rich billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, vigilante by night. And then nobody really explored that at all until Lemire got a hold of the title in in Moon Knight. And he really explores this idea of dissociative disorder and what it would be like to be really, really wanting to do the right thing, but feeling unable to do so because you're shackled by your psychosis. One of the things he does that's super cool is he actually chose to tell his story from the perspective of somebody who's crazy. You're in Mark Spector's mind at all times, but of course sometimes he's not Mark, he's somebody else. And in order to drive this home, he actually I think he has nearly half a dozen different artists draw everything. And so sometimes as his identity changes, so does the artist. But sometimes the artist changes without the identity, and you can't tell what's going on. So just like any other story that takes place from the perspective of somebody with a warped sense of reality, you go on Spectre's journey with him as he tries to discover who he really is and who is really Moon Knight. And is Khonshu even a thing, or is it a figment of his imagination? Super cool. It's really, really, really good story. So if you want to get a cool psychological thriller story wrapped up in this new character, try Moon Knight. It's a really cool read, really good.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today before Parker dies.
Jesus.
And, stop dying.
Ugh.
I need you to promise me one thing, Parker.
That I will never die.
That you'll never, ever die.
I will never die.
All right. Now we can continue. All right. Well, we appreciate you staying. Sorry if we rambled a bit. But this has been Brandon.
And Dr. Mantis Toboggan.
And Jeremy,
Indeed.
I promise I will never die.
And thank you for listening to Khonshu, an old wooden ship. All right, what's this dumb thing you think we're going to bet about?
Well, usually we bet whenever we disagree about something, and almost all of our disagreements that have come to bets have been about whether or not they're actually going to put a new faction into this game. I think they might actually put a new faction into this game. I think they might do the Midnight Suns.
I believe it's already been confirmed.
Yeah.
Has it been confirmed? Because I just see
Yeah.
hashtags on the bottom of things. Has somebody said out loud Midnight Suns?
Yes.
Or has it been... Okay.
Yeah. It's in some sort of, one of the boxes has been opened or whatever, and there's a card in it that has affiliations
No.
or something or other.
It's in the gallery on the website. They uploaded the contents of the box, and it says Midnight Suns affiliation card.
There you go. Yeah, I knew it was somewhere, and it was pretty official. Punisher will finally have a home.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ghost Rider, Punisher.
Is he a son of the Midnight?
Yeah.
What was the reason they made that gang? Why are they a thing?
In the comic books?
Yeah.
They hunt Blackulas.
Oh my god.
What? That's Rick and Morty, right?
No. Venture Brothers.
That's right.
Because his friend, who's basically Blade, it's Dr. Morpheus. And his friend, who's basically Blade, hunts Blackulas.
That is
At first,
awesome.
you might be like, I feel like this is really a racist take on Blade. But he specifically only hunts vampires who happen to be African American. And they're called Blackulas.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, to answer your question, the Midnight Suns were actually formed by Doctor Strange. So, it's a willing speculation that the Doctor Strange we've seen spoiled with Dormammu is going to be a Midnight Suns leader. And probably not, maybe not a Defenders leader. Probably, yeah, two Doctor Stranges for the same faction, maybe a little weird. But the members were Blade, Dr. Voodoo,
Wait,
Elsa.
hold on. There's two Peter Parkers in Web Warriors.
Yeah, but one
Why
of
would
them
it be strange?
I guess maybe they could do, but if they already said they're going to do a Midnight Suns, I don't know who else would lead it. I guess.
Right, but what's the problem? Like, one can be a leader for one and not for the other. Like, that's fine.
Right. What I'm saying is, I both Doctor Stranges might be members of the Defenders, but I think the
okay.
new Doctor Strange will probably have leader for Midnight Suns. Is what I'm saying.
I thought you were saying they won't be in the same faction. I'm like, that would be weird.
No, I think they might put both Doctor Stranges in both factions, but I'm guessing the new one will have the leader tag. Is my guess, because he's the one who formed it. But it was Iron Fist, Elsa Bloodstone, who I really hope goes into this game. You know, I have a love affair with Elsa Bloodstone. I want her really bad. So maybe they do. Dr. Voodoo is one. Blade. The Man-Thing, which I think would be awesome if they put the Man-Thing in here. Scarlet Spider is, actually, which I think is interesting. Ghost Rider. Hellstorm. I think Hellstrom is actually his name, but I think that'd be cool.
Who the fuck is Hellstorm?
He is. I don't think he's actually Damien. Maybe he is Damien. I think he's the son of Satan. But he doesn't like the job. He can't stand that he's the son of Satan. I think he is actually.
So he's Dante.
Yeah, he's Damon Hells. Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah. He's literally the son of Satan. In the comic books, he's a wonderful kid. He started out really campy, kind of like Doctor Strange did, but in the modern comics, he's wonderful. Did you guys see? Shit.
Devil May Cry.
No, God, fucking. Oh, this is gonna make me so mad. Because the name of the title of the show, it's an Amazon Prime original show about this angel and a demon.
Good Omens.
Yeah,
Bad
Good Omens. Good Omens. He's basically the demon from Good Omens. Like that's like who his character is in the modern comics. He is a demon. Technically, he's the son of Satan, but really he just wants to like hang out and listen to rock music, have a good time.
Yeah, his idea of being evil is being a rock star.
Yeah, basically, yes. So the Midnight Suns were all formed all the Midnight Suns came together to for at the behest of Doctor Strange to fight Lilith.
She's bad, right?
Yeah, Lilith, super duper bad guy. Like one of the oldest beings in creation. Mother is the mother of demons. Yeah.
My dog wants to play. He's like, stop talking to the wall and come play with me.
Apparently Lilith was around whenever God created Adam and Eve and actually like seduced Adam before Eve came around, and so had children, which were like these demonic man creature things.
Were they called Nephilim?
Nope.
Damn it.
Called something else. Mazakim. Yeah.
Mazikeen, yeah.
At any rate, she's done. Basically, Lilith is kind of one of those like catch-all bad guys. Whenever something nefarious is going on in the, in the mystical underworld,
it must be a being of pure evil. Insert right. Lilith.
Yeah, insert Lilith. Insert Dormammu or Lilith or Mephisto or Nightmare. They just kind of it's a parade of these characters.
Alien being that does nothing but want to destroy the entire universe.
Yeah. Power for power's sake, all that stuff. Yeah, that's Lilith. And so the Midnight Suns were originally constructed to combat Lilith. Doctor Strange picked them, each member specifically, because whether they knew it or not, they actually had an encounter with Lilith in their lives already. So like Scarlet Spider was in there for some reason. Iron Fist was in there. Elsa. It makes sense that like Elsa and Moon Knight would be in there because they're both like mystical. They do mystical stuff, but like Scarlet Spider in there seems kind of an odd choice, but apparently he was.
Lame.
So I'm excited for Midnight Suns. That sounds fun.
This is my level of excitement for Midnight Suns. I could care less.
It's actually this is actually might be the very. I guess I'll save this for the podcast. I want to actually have.
Surprised Cassandra Nova's not in that faction, man. We need more important stuff in this faction.
I actually, this is a main topic. A main topic thing I wanted to float, very related to this exact thing. When do we stop buying every single model in this game? Is there a point in which that happens? Because
I actually had this conversation the other day.
Yeah, I really feel like this is not a poo-poo of the. I want to start this conversation with this is not a denigration of MCP at all. I think it's awesome that MCP is getting as big as the Marvel Universe. But at some point, I don't buy every Marvel comic because I just can't read them all, right?
Well, I think I can sum up your concern here. You see, recently Parker started modeling his models again and assembling them with glue and knives and bits. And he doesn't want to do that anymore. Yeah. And so Atomic Mass Games need to stop making models so he can stop putting stuff together.
Yeah.
Is that about the sum of this?
There's two things. That's one of them. But I thought this could be a good main topic. I actually want to know what your guys' opinion was. And I think it also, it's not because it's not actually just about like the modeling piece and the money piece, which I think is the beginning and the end of a lot of people's conversations around modeling. It's also about the game piece, your ability to play, what you're excited about playing. Like also, if you are willing to not buy everything, when do you start? Like when does a model show up that you're excited for? You know, you say I am going to buy this, even though I'm not buying them all anymore. This is like I wanted to talk about like how. Going forward, how do we continue to collect this game? And then, because that directly impacts how we play it. And so I thought it was a pretty good topic, especially considering I think a lot of, I don't know if a lot of people have already reached the point where, I feel like I'm at right now, where I'm trying to decide, do I continue to go on this tack? Maybe this will be interesting to people. Or I'm crazy and everyone's just like, yeah, I want all the models, I don't care.
I think the majority of players probably don't buy everything right now. So.
Right.
But yeah. All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about today?
I have certain feelings about the list that we built and how that the draft actually feels playing it.
All right.
Currently unexcited. There's new shit coming out, and I'm kind of over this.
All right, so playing currently draft lists.
I'm actually with I'm with you, Jeremy. That's a really interesting point. I feel that. I'm excited to play. Although everything is new to me right now, so I think the draft will not. We'll talk about it in a second. I like that though. Jeremy, I thought you would like this. I'm putting this in the podcast channel. Brandon, you also might like this because I know you like these comics.
I don't like anything.
You do like this. I know you do.
Everything is empty. Nothing is value. Everything is cold. An army of ghosts.
I'm just angry about people's misconceptions about science. Been working on an army of ghosts.
As we learned from Return of the King, an army of ghosts is really the way to go.
Yeah.
Oh damn it! This isn't actually working. Why does this have to break all the time? Audio. Oh, this appears to just have everything set to disabled. That doesn't seem like a great way to record things.
Ooh, do we want a comic corner? Do we? I haven't made one, but I can.
Do you have some Moon Knight information? That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I got your Moon Knight right here.
Oh my god.
I got your Moon Knight up in ya.
Oh, let me see if this is actually working. Well, he's doing that. Okay, is everybody 100% sure they are recording?
I am 100% sure I am recording.
Yes,
Jeremy.
I am recording.
Okay. Just be extra careful when you go to save it, because for some reason the backup is not working. Everybody good on that?
Yeah.
No takesies backsies.
I'm not going to be up till 3
Well-
a.m. recording it twice.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get a backup episode in at some point.
Well, I mean, you did record our draft league. I mean, that's a thing, I suppose.
So, yeah, but I plan on releasing that at some point. But I would rather it not be an emergency must drop because we can't record. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I was thinking originally was we would do it as episode 50 unless we get a bunch of fan mail or something. But it looks like we probably won't get that much fan mail. And I was thinking we could release it as like episode 45 and then do another one for episode 50, like an actual draft.
Mm-hmm.
Is where this was more of a practice draft, so like amend the rules a bit and get a full 8 and do it again.
Yeah. Did you end up putting figuring out how to work the thing and upload the episode on the other deal? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know how to do it. It's just a huge pain in the ass. So I haven't done it yet. And this is my first day off in basically 2 fucking weeks. So
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean, technically last Wednesday and last Sunday, but Sunday all I did was catch up on the fact that I hadn't had a day off. And then Wednesday was basically all podcast and Strike Force shit. So, like, today was the first time I've gotten to do any video editing basically in 2 weeks. And all I did was one fucking video. All right, Parker, I expect you to give detailed backstories on all of these fucking Mystic Boyos.
Okay.
Nobody's ever heard of these dumbasses before.
Okay, give me a moment. The only one I don't know about is Doc Voodoo. I do not know a lot
He's
about him.
clearly a Native American shaman that summons this guy with a hood on his head.
Oh, God. Please let this not be part of the pre-ramble. That is the most racist. Oh, that makes
How
me so...
can you say that? His name is Dr. Voodoo. What's voodoo? Voodoo is Louisiana magic, right? That's
No,
the
it's not.
definition
God,
of voodoo.
he's from Haiti.
Oh.
Also, he is descended from slaves, so please.
Oh, he is?
Yes. Oh, Jesus.
Listen, he already talked about Blackulas earlier.
I know.
Brandon
Go
skirts
out
the
from
edges.
Yeah. We paint with a wide brush here. It's hard to stay inside the lines.
They're like, we need to get rid of the Native American mascot. Brandon's like, ooh, I know.
Yes,
Blackula.
can I pick, guys?
Good Lord.
I don't know, anytime someone's like, I'm a wizard, and you're not like Booksmart's wizard, I just imagine Rick from Rick and Morty. He's like, you can trust me because I'm not a hack peddling my voodoo crap magic. Like, so I'm just like, you're not a wizard. Name one spell. And they're like, shrink head. I'm like, that's not a spell.
So I saw the new season came out. Like, it's season 5 or something, right?
Yeah, it's coming out right now. I think episode 4 is out this week.
I watched the first one of episode 5.
Me and Parker have been watching it every Sunday. It's got a different tone than the previous seasons, but I like them so far. It's much more fast-paced and less with the like long overarching storylines, but it might just be that we haven't had any yet. Because it always felt like before, there was always like at least 5 minutes of the episode centered around like what's been going on lately, and now it's just been like flavor of the week.
Yeah, I can't even remember what episode 1 was even about. I didn't mind it. It was good. It didn't change my life. Not like the robot dogs.
Oh yeah, that's episode 2.
I mean, that was legit.
I remember when we watched all of season 1 on the way to Adepticon, and then all of season 2 on the way back from Adepticon.
That's the way to do it.
You're like, this show is awesome.
Yep.
I might be the devil, but your grandpa is the devil. So good. What the fuck, Parker? I thought you were going to look this up.
That's all I'm doing is reading all about this stuff.
Okay. It's like 90 pages on FanWiki, and you're like, oh, interesting.
No, I'm just trying to get it all. I don't want to miss.
Okay.
I don't want to mess this shit up.
So, do we have a topic?
I thought we had 2.
So the topic is, should we buy things? Brought to you by a guy who works at a store. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm for economy, so I agree with this message. But
no, my question is actually, I just wanted to kind of poll you guys. I just want to know, where is the limit? Where do you stop? That's my question. That's actually the question I want to discuss. Is there ever a point at which you stop? Ever? And then the follow-up question to that is, if you do stop, when do you buy after that? Because in every other game I've ever played, it was really easy to make that call because they factionalized everything. In every game I've ever played, everything was factionalized. But this game has no factions, really. Really, it doesn't. So at what point did you
I
buy?
think it's a different perspective of people getting in now versus people who have already started. Yeah, we'll talk about that, but is there anything else we want to talk about? I'm worried this is going to be a quick episode. I know we have a lot of news, but that tends to go pretty quick.
Didn't Jeremy said the kind of playing right now, right? Kind of.
So, also, did you see Pagani came out with a weird measurement, update on measurements?
No. Every time there's a ruling now, I'm really nervous.
I know. So this one is...
Pagani is also, super anti-clean measuring, which is really annoying to me.
Yes,
but
there you go.
The only thing about Pagani I don't like is that he's really awkward on, where he draws the line on, what should be allowed and shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, this one's real bad. So,
no.
Yeah, when measuring from a token, that your little one, the one measurement, you can't, lay down your measurement, move a model to within 1, and then remeasure it within 1 and place the model somewhere around it. Once you place it, it's done. As in, you can't constantly measure that 1 and figure out where you want to be. That's what it's telling you. And he's
saying you cannot, put the 1 down and then move to it?
You can do that, but then you can't move it again, backwards or closer or fiddle with it.
The guy who invented the term Paganiing?
Yes,
where
correct.
You move your models, then move them again, and then again, and then again.
You are
and then
correct.
Again. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know what this ruling is? Do we know what question this ruling was asked on?
I do not know. I know it was a Pagani thing, and it came out recently, right with the other ruling. It was at the same time as the dice rolling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was?
Yeah. So it got overshadowed.
That's not it. Whenever we have a rules question, can we try and get into the habit of either like saving the question and then we can make sure that this isn't already answered on the rules forum somewhere, and if not, we can ask the question on the rules forum?
Okay.
I would really like that. Because that way we could actually start asking important. So there's questions I've been meaning to ask forever, and whenever I'm on the forums, I can never remember what they are. I don't see anything about this on the forums. I would really like to get the exact wording, so we don't just butcher it and call them a dumbass for no reason.
Yeah, and
I want
really
there to be
most
a
people
reason
play it
we call
anyway.
them a
It's
dumbass.
just
Yeah.
it was something he came out with that just doesn't. It's like, what? It's like, dude. And he might have said it on a video.
I think part of it, okay, well, obviously I can't find that then.
Yeah.
Part of it, I think, tends to be that they have to make some, like, restrictive wording because people, if you leave it any wiggle room at all, people will, like, loophole their way into being really annoying. And so it's like, well, I'm going to move after I've already placed my guy. It's like, well, technically, like, by the rules, there's nothing that allows you to move again. You've already placed the model. Like, yeah, but I mean, I think regardless of how the thing is worded or whatever he said, wherever it is, which we should probably try and find at some point, it probably is just as long as you have an understanding with your opponent what you're trying to accomplish with your maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really the most important thing. Like, I'm trying to move within range 1 of this token. That's my intent. Like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get there, and then you as a group of 2 players figure out how to make that happen. Oh, all right. Parker, do you know all?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is really bothering me that this fucking thing is not recording. I have to mute this other channel. Normally there's not this much conversation this late. Testing.
Yep.
I can hear you.
Alright, so now it's just my audio. My audio is not working for some reason. I think I just had a Windows update and it's freaking out. Oh, now I have volume. Parker volume?
Yep, I can hear you.
Got it. Yep.
Testing? Can I get a level check?
Test. Parker, mic check. Parker.
Jeremy, level
Jeremy.
check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, and start. Okay, we have a backup running now, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna refill my water. I'll be right back. We'll get started.
Okay.
Okay.
Pee if you got it.
Wow. So, okay, you guys are gone. Awesome.
Wubba lubba. Dub dub.
Dub
I'm
dub,
back.
dub dub.
Step into dubs. Do you think Parker was really upset that I made fun of his shaman character?
I don't know.
He seemed pretty triggered.
Triggered.
This is triggering me. I need space. So I have you guys on the backup audio set to like 50% output, and you guys are still louder than me. So hopefully we won't have to use that because I have not had time to rebalance the audio levels from when I guess this thing freaking reset or updated or whatever. We had a close call. My audio file got corrupted last time.
Oh no. What did you do?
I was a little worried. Well, because I always save it and export it, I had the save file still.
Ah.
But so yeah, you guys should be saving and exporting probably. Because if that happens to you guys, then we're kind of screwed.
I always have. I don't shut anything down, so it's all just kind of sitting there for a full week. I really don't care.
Do you not really use your laptop for anything else?
Not really. My boys do drawings, but that's about it.
My plan was to sleep for like 12 hours today. That didn't happen.
No?
Nope. I just woke up at like 10 and I was like, damn it. It's not 3.
Why did you work so much last week?
I did 93 hours in 9 days. And 2 of those days, technically, I was off. But yeah, we had a convention, small little 40K convention that
Gotcha.
EJ took a booth to, and then the week before, I can't remember. I've just of the last 8 weekends, I've worked like 6 of them, which is not normally what I do. So it just seems like every he basically asked me to work this weekend too, and I just basically said fuck no. I was like, I got shit to do.
We come up with a real topic. What are we going to do here?
We just basically have a lot of small topics. Parker, you have an intruder in your house. He's hiding behind your chair.
Cool.
Oh, he's never going to turn around. He's going to die.
I have a camera behind me. See?
Mm.
I'm like that. I'm like one of those hunters in the Indian jungle. You just put a mask on the back of my head with a face. The tigers can't get you.
Can't. I don't know the
That'll
proper
do it.
term. Speaking of the jungle, why don't you tell us about Dr. Voodoo?
You want me to tell you right now? I thought we were going to do it whenever we talk about it on
Just
the podcast.
like broad strokes.
Well, actually, his whole story is a very broad stroke. Actually, it's just he was like Doctor Strange. He was an actual doctor. He was from Haiti. He goes back to after he's done with his medical degree. Finds out while he's been gone, his brother was practicing voodoo and cursed by another voodoo doctor to die. His body wastes away, but before it totally does, he tells his brother to seek out his teacher of voodoo and so you can avenge his death, right? So he does, and he learns much more quickly than his brother does. And his big his big spell that he pulls off is he actually takes his brother's spirit and binds it to his own, basically doubling his power. So he's super duper voodoo doctor. He goes and beats the bad guy, so on and so forth. So Doc Voodoo in the comic books, the big thing is he has his brother's spirit is always with him. He can do cool stuff like do cool ghost stuff that ghosts can do, as well as be a mentor and a confidant, that kind of thing.
Huh. So that's probably... I thought, when I saw the picture, because I didn't know anything about any of these characters other than Doctor Strange and Mordo and the Ancient One. But I assumed the shaman guy was going to summon creatures, and I guess the hood guy I thought was going to be one of the things he summoned.
Oh,
took a random guess.
Yeah, not even close. The hood is actually... You would love the hood. Because I know the kind of villains you like. I think you would really like the hood. What I put into the infamous podcast chat was 100%. He is basically Baron Marcone of the Marvel Universe. That's what he is. He was just a regular kind of criminal. He didn't see the he didn't see the math working out, as a regular Joe. He, everybody's a chump who does it like that. Always thought he was a person of incredible ability. Why waste it living a normal life? He was going to do something better with it. He also has an altruistic child kind of thing that even though he's totally estranged from the child, he's supports the mom and the kid, and while he's trying to work his way up the criminal ladder, they break in to steal something from what they think is a warehouse, but it's not a warehouse. It's actually a site of a mystical cult doing incantations, and they summon these clothes into the summoning ritual. They summon this hood and these two shoes, and a demon is inhabiting them. And so, of course, the hood and his little group breaks up the ritual. The demon kind of goes crazy. The hood kills the demon and takes the hood and the shoes, and with them gains mystical powers. The hood can teleport. The shoes can allow him to fly. And what he doesn't know is that the demon that owned the hood and the shoes is still inhabiting them. And so he basically makes a deal with it. It's almost exactly the same as Lash and Marcone in the current Dresden Files. So it is, spoiler alert for Dresden Files. I
find the fact that the boots let him fly and the cloak lets him teleport offensive. It should be the other way around.
Oh well, the boots. Well, let me double check. Maybe the cloak doesn't let him teleport. It just gives him supernatural abilities. I can't remember. The boots definitely let him walk on the air. They borrowed exactly those shoes for Mordo in the MCU. Those are the shoes he has. Mordo doesn't have those shoes in the comic books. The Hood has those shoes. But I can't remember what the. I thought the Hood actually let him teleport. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just find it annoying that the abilities aren't reversed. Anyway.
Oh no, it's the cloak is invisible, not teleport. Invisibility.
Okay.
And he also is, but what he does most of the time is he shoots people. He has 2 pistols and he shoots people because he's not
You heard it from Parker, guys. Don't buy the hood model. Just put a base down. He's invisible.
So what he doesn't know is, what he figures out later is that the hood is still possessed by the demon, but he doesn't care. Like he doesn't give a crap. And so he basically he's like, does this give me more power? Does this give me the ability to eliminate my enemies? Great. I'm just going to keep doing it. And so, my favorite quote of his is that he says, if I'm going to be a supervillain, I'm going to be the most supervillain. And he's really
anyway.
He's really the reason I don't know why you don't like this guy immediately. Maybe it's just because of the model, the way he looks. But he goes about villainy very smart. But he thinks everyone else
very
is
practical.
Yes, right. He thinks the way everybody else does it. He thinks they're all chumps, and he's correct. He's extremely successful supervillain, and it's because he does things very, very intelligently, so that he is a part of all of this stuff that's always going on.
All right,
but he's never the.
Parker,
I'm
trying to get you to stop so we can do this during the podcast.
Oh well, you should just tell me that. I thought you said you wanted a rundown of this stuff. Go ahead, go.
No, I wanted broad strokes, like, oh, he's this guy. He does voodoo magic from this place. Like, okay. Moving on. And then every time I tried to get you to stop, you're like, Bo, you would like this. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, go.
No, now we're listening to you now.
Nope, I'm done. I'm not saying any more words.
Oh, boy. Alright, I'm going to put this in here just in case we run out of stuff to talk about. I don't think we will, though. So I'm putting in best or worst alter egos. And so basically just go through and pick the real name of somebody that you think is either the dumbest or the best. That'll be fill time if we run out of time. Or we run out of stuff to talk about. But we'll probably just save it and push it to some other day. You guys good?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Nice. How did you make it all the way to the end, Parker, and then start like dying?
What the fuck?
Jesus
was
Christ.
that?
I don't. I'm so sorry, Brandon. The edit job's gonna be so hard.
No, it'll actually not be that hard to edit, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna copy that and just put it at the beginning. And basically, every time you speak, you're like, "So I was like, it'll be great."
That was terrible.
Why did you eat like 9 strawberries that you're allergic to right when you tried to talk about Moon Knight? Was it you're trying to give an endorsement of Moon Knight and your body was just rejecting that? Like you just couldn't do it?
That was really weird. It's one of my lymph nodes feels like super swollen. Oh, that's awful.
That's probably a good sign.
It actually
those don't signal anything bad.
it actually I actually have this lymph node swells constantly when I'm teaching. I have nodules in my throat from teaching. A lot of teachers do. And that one just said nope.
It was between old wooden ship and random bullshit. Go.
I think old wooden ship was great.
Mm-hmm. Man, I just don't know how excited I am for Dormammu. I don't know. I was pretty excited when I saw the video.
He's gonna be 7 points, and he's gonna be able to do 18 things, and you're gonna play him with Magneto. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I don't. That's not what I mean. I just don't know. I don't know that he will. I'm pretty sure they're not going to make a 7-point character right now. And if they did, I don't think it would be Dormammu. It's possible, but I mean,
he'll probably be
he's
5.
such like a
5 is a safe spot.
I'm actually thinking 5 will be more likely, and he'll just be like a weird tank with a lot of weird like board manipulation shit. I don't know. He just seems like such a throwaway villain. Because, like, he only ever really shows up in Doctor Strange's comic. And he's, well, technically not, like, a one bad guy villain. Like you just wouldn't see, like... Try and think of an equivalent example.
Well, MODOK is a throwaway villain. He's constantly punked like a bitch.
Sure, but he's not one person's villain. He shows up in
True.
a lot of places.
That's true.
Like he's a multi-occurrence villain, as where like you wouldn't see like even the Mandarin I think shows up more than Dormammu does on like a global scale. Like he's mainly an Iron Man villain, but he does show up elsewhere, right?
I have never seen him outside of Iron Man, but it's technically possible.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong there.
I think actually that's a really good comparison. The Mandarin is Iron Man's Dormammu. Like that's a really good comparison.
Like technically he's the big bad, but he's not there that often. Like he's the guy we talk about and the guy we're here to stop. But like it's not. Doctor Strange has a lot of days he doesn't fight Dormammu. Right.
The literary term would be a foil, right? It's like the thing that always is there to screw the protagonist because it's a constant bad guy.
Yeah. Alrighty, well let's go ahead and wrap up. Unless you guys have something you wanted to mention before we stop the post ramble.
I really like how much Jeremy didn't speak but we talked as if we were Jeremy. I like that a lot.
I think I spoke for Jeremy more than Jeremy spoke for Jeremy.
There was a lot of that going on. Yeah, I'm glad I can project.
Was I wrong? Did anything I say not line up with your personal views?
Usually you're wrong, but this time you weren't.
Nice. All right. Till next time, guys.